How my neighbor's midnight confession unlocked my own hidden truths. Have you ever had a moment, a seemingly ordinary occurrence, that completely blindsides you, shifting the very foundations of your perception of the world and, more importantly, of yourself? I certainly hadn't. Not until a soft, late-night knock on my door cracked open. Not just a conversation with my neighbor, but an entire universe of unspoken emotions and hidden vulnerabilities that left me questioning everything for weeks. This isn't just a story about a visit. It's about the seismic ripples of human connection, the fragile dance of trust, and the profound, unexpected journey of finally seeing and being seen. Hello, cherished viewers, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight, I'm peeling back the layers on a deeply personal experience. One that began with a simple knock and evolved into a profound revelation about the intricate tapestry of human connection. Where are you tuning in from tonight? New York? California? Texas? Drop a comment below and let me know. It's an unwritten rule in my quiet corner of the world. Once the sun dips below the horizon, shrouding the neighborhood in a comforting blanket of dusk, my door remains steadfastly closed to unsolicited visits. It's not born of reclusiveness, far from it. I enjoy my independence, my routines, the predictable rhythm of my days. But there's a certain sanctity to the evening hours, a profound stillness that whispers of solitude, of undisturbed introspection. My small, immaculately kept house, with its scent of lavender and old books, transforms into a sanctuary as the outside world gradually recedes into the background. The quiet grants me the precious space to think, to breathe, to simply exist without the constant hum of external demands interrupting the delicate cadence of my thoughts. But that particular night, etched vividly into my memory, defied all my carefully constructed norms. The knock, when it came, was initially so soft, so tentative, that I almost missed it entirely. Lost as I was in the comforting embrace of my novel, the dim glow of my reading lamp casting long shadows across the living room. I wasn't expecting anyone. My evening plans consisted solely of escaping into the pages of a new story. Yet, curiosity, a seldom stirred emotion in my predictable life, compelled me to peer through the peephole. There, bathed in the soft, ambient light of the street lamp, stood the familiar silhouette of my neighbor, Grace. Grace had been a fixture next door for as long as I could recall. A quiet presence in the periphery of my life. Our relationship, if one could even call it that, was a tapestry woven from polite greetings exchanged over garden fences and the occasional, fleeting coffee shared when our paths serendipitously crossed. I had always harbored the assumption that she, much like myself, was perfectly content with her solitary existence, navigating life's currents with a quiet self-sufficiency. She was in her late 40s, roughly a decade my junior. Yet in many respects, our lives felt like parallel tracks. Two women charting independent courses, each holding our emotional cards close to our chests, rarely betraying the deeper currents of our feelings. Still, the soft, persistent rhythm of her knocking resonated with an urgency that pierced through the calm of the night, a silent plea that I found impossible to ignore. I opened the door just a fraction, peering cautiously through the narrow gap. "Grace?" I questioned, my voice tinged with a blend of surprise and mild apprehension, unsure of what to expect from this unexpected late-night caller. She looked different, unsettled. Her usually perfectly coiffed hair was disheveled, as if she had rushed over in a moment of desperate impulse. Her typically confident, almost regal posture had evaporated, replaced by a subtle slump. She stood there, clutching a bottle of wine in one hand, her other hand nervously twisting the strap of her purse, a clear tell of her inner turmoil. "Hey," she began, her voice a hushed whisper, almost hesitant. "I hope I'm not disturbing you. Can I come in for a minute? I need to talk to someone." Without a second thought, driven by an instinct I rarely acknowledged, I stepped aside, holding the door wide enough for her to enter. "Of course, Grace. Is everything all right?" She didn't offer an immediate answer, merely nodding as she stepped across the threshold, her gaze sweeping across my living room as if taking inventory of its familiar comforts. My coffee table held the unassuming remnants of my evening, a mug half filled with cooling tea, a flickering candle casting a warm glow, and a small stack of unopened letters, silent testament to the daily mundane tasks I'd been avoiding. Grace gently set the wine bottle down, still unable to meet my gaze. I gestured towards the plush sofa and we both settled into its cushions, the silence between us now thick with unspoken meaning. I could almost hear the frantic whirring of her thoughts, the careful sifting and sorting of emotions before she finally spoke. "I don't know why I'm here," she confessed, a soft, self-deprecating laugh escaping her lips, though her eyes remained devoid of any genuine mirth. "It's ridiculous. I shouldn't be bothering you with my... whatever this is." I tilted my head, my gaze soft, attempting to decipher the intricate currents of her distress. "Grace, it's all right. Whatever it is, you can tell me. You're safe here." She finally met my gaze then, and in that fleeting moment, I witnessed something profound, a depth of raw emotion that momentarily startled me. It was as if she were truly seeing me for the first time. Or perhaps, more accurately, I was finally seeing her beyond the carefully constructed facade she presented to the world. I had never truly noticed the inherent softness in her eyes when they weren't shielded by composure, the stark vulnerability etched across her features in that unguarded instant. She paused again, her fingers drumming a light, nervous rhythm on the armrest of the couch. "I need to talk. I don't have anyone else to talk to." I simply nodded, my mind already racing, attempting to connect the invisible dots of her distress. I still wasn't entirely certain of the precise nature of her predicament. But whatever it was, it clearly held immense significance for her, pressing down on the air around us with a tangible weight. "It's my marriage," she finally uttered, after another agonizing pause, her voice now barely above a whisper, as if she wrestled with the very act of speaking the words aloud. "It's falling apart. I don't know what to do. I thought I had everything under control, you know. But now, I feel like I'm losing my grip. And I'm so tired of pretending like everything's okay." My heart clenched with a quiet ache as her words, laden with raw anguish, filled the room. I was utterly unsure of how to offer comfort, never having walked in her exact shoe. Yet, the rawness in her voice, the profound exhaustion that echoed in every syllable, resonated deeply within me. I had always perceived Grace as this formidable, independent woman, someone who had meticulously charted her own course, seemingly immune to the vulnerabilities that plagued the rest of us, someone who appeared to have no need for external help. And yet, here she was, pouring out her deepest fears and insecurities to me, a neighbor she barely knew beyond the superficial pleasantries exchanged across manicured lawns. "You don't have to pretend with me, Grace," I said gently, offering her a soft, reassuring smile. "You don't have to have it all figured out. You're allowed to feel lost. We all are, at times." A visible wave of relief washed over her shoulders slumping as she leaned back into the cushions, releasing a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. For the next several minutes, she spoke candidly about the slow, agonizing dissolution of her marriage, the insidious cracks she had diligently ignored, the silent, ever-widening chasm that had formed between her and her husband over the years, the subtle shifts that had transformed them into strangers sharing a home. She spoke of how he had changed, or perhaps how she had, or perhaps how both had evolved into individuals no longer capable of finding their way back to the shared path they had once forged. It was excruciating to listen, knowing the profound depth of pain she was enduring. Yet I resisted the urge to interrupt, allowing her the sacred space to articulate her grief. I offered only gentle murmurs of comfort, carefully chosen words of empathy, when the moment felt intrinsically right. And as she spoke, a subtle but undeniable transformation occurred within the room. I could feel the palpable weight of her vulnerability, the courageous honesty that permeated the air. It was as if she were consciously allowing me to glimpse a facet of herself she had meticulously kept hidden for so long, a side that didn't possess all the answers, a side that was far from perfectly composed. There was an unexpected intimacy born in that moment, a shared experience of raw, unguarded emotion that transcended our previous superficial acquaintance. We were simply two women seated on a comfortable couch in the soft, flickering glow of a lamp, conversing about life's profound uncertainties, sharing confessions neither of us had ever anticipated uttering to another soul. It felt both natural and utterly surreal, as if an invisible thread had suddenly woven itself between us, altering our dynamic without either of us fully comprehending its silent strength. She finally finished speaking, her voice gradually trailing off into a silence that felt almost sacred, imbued with the lingering echoes of her raw honesty. I didn't immediately know what to say, yet there was no desperate need to fill the quiet with superfluous words. We simply sat there, allowing the profound heaviness of the moment to settle around us, to be absorbed into the very fabric of the room. Finally, I broke the silence. "Grace," I began, my voice steady. "You don't have to have all the answers right now, but you possess the incredible courage to look at it, to face it head on. And that, my dear, is far more than most people can ever say." A faint smile touched her lips, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. And in that moment, a powerful realization dawned. We were both, in our own unique ways, learning profound lessons from each other, entirely without expectation. It wasn't about immediately fixing things, not in that instant. It was about the simple yet profound act of being present for each other, of sharing the immense weight of the world, even if only for a fleeting while. The antique clock on the wall continued its rhythmic ticking, marking the passage of time. Yet we remained seated in that quiet room. Two women who had, against all odds, found a way to bridge a chasm neither of us had even known existed between our seemingly separate lives. The night deepened, but the oppressive weight in the room seemed to subtly dissipate, replaced by a softer, more manageable presence. Grace had fallen silent, but I could still sense the simmering cauldron of her inner turmoil, a quiet tempest just beneath the surface of her composed exterior. The bottle of wine, still sealed, remained untouched between us, a silent witness to our intimate exchange. I hadn't offered her a glass. An instinct told me she craved something far deeper, something beyond the fleeting comfort of alcohol, or even my most carefully chosen words. There was a profound stillness in the air now, an unspoken current of connection that had formed between us, delicate yet undeniably potent. It was peculiar, this sudden intimacy between two individuals who had for years existed in polite but distant orbits, their interactions limited to the most superficial of exchanges. Yet here we were, sharing a space so raw, so vulnerable. I glanced at the clock again, a soft chime marking the passage of time. It was well past midnight, the city outside slumbering in quiet repose. A part of me yearned to tell her to stay, to assure her that my time was hers for the taking, that her departure held no urgency for me. But another, deeper instinct whispered that Grace needed more than mere company. She needed clarity, a sense of direction that, at this moment, felt impossibly elusive to her. I cleared my throat, leaning forward slightly, my voice gentle but firm. Grace, I can't pretend to fully comprehend the depth of what you're experiencing, but I do know this. Sometimes the answers don't manifest immediately. Sometimes you must simply sit with the uncertainty. Allow it to be. She turned her head slowly, her gaze meeting mine, her expression unreadable for a fleeting moment. Then, a faint, almost imperceptible smile touched the corners of her lips as she nodded. I don't know if I can do that, she confessed, her voice laced with a weary honesty. I've spent my entire life running away from uncertainty, meticulously attempting to control every aspect of my world. But now it feels as though everything is unraveling, thread by delicate thread, and I'm utterly terrified of what will remain when the fabric finally comes loose. Her voice cracked perceptibly on the final word, and for a brief, startling second, I caught a glimpse of a raw vulnerability that transcended mere sadness or upset. It was a profound, almost primal rawness that stripped away all her practiced composure, revealing her in her purest, most human form. I instinctively longed to offer her the perfect, most comforting piece of advice, a magical incantation that would instantly alleviate her pain. But the truth, stark and undeniable, was that I possessed no such answers. No one ever truly does. Not when it comes to the complex, labyrinthine matters of the heart. Instead, I reached for the untouched wine bottle, uncorking it with a practiced, fluid motion. I poured a modest amount into one of my crystal glasses, then extended it to her, my fingers brushing gently against hers as I passed it over. She accepted it with a quiet, almost imperceptible nod. No words were exchanged in that moment, just the soft, resonant clink of glass, the shared comfort of simply existing in the same space. both of us carrying the quiet, immense weight of the world around us. "Do you ever wonder if we're all just pretending?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper, a thread of introspection weaving through the quiet. She gazed into the swirling wine in her glass, absent-mindedly rotating it, as if seeking answers within its ruby depths. "I mean, we navigate through life, meticulously constructing facades, tirelessly striving to make everything appear okay. But deep down, beneath all the polished surfaces, aren't we all just stumbling through, desperately trying to figure it out? And I'm just so utterly exhausted by the pretense, the constant charade of having it all together." I paused, considering the profound weight of her question. It was not a query easily dismissed. I, too, had spent a significant portion of my own life engaged in various forms of pretense, pretending to be content in relationships that ultimately left me feeling hollow, pretending that I exerted absolute control over every intricate facet of my existence, pretending that everything was unequivocally fine when, in truth, my inner world often felt precariously balanced on the brink of collapse. But I refrained from vocalizing any of those personal confessions. I simply sat there, observing her, silently absorbing her vulnerability, attempting to discern the path this unexpected moment was forging between us. "You're not alone in feeling like that, Grace," I finally said, my voice soft yet resonant with genuine understanding. "I believe everyone, at some point in their lives, experiences that unsettling sensation of pretending. The true trick, the real wisdom, lies in realizing that it's perfectly all right not to possess all the answers. It's perfectly all right to be vulnerable, to expose the fragile parts of yourself." She looked up at me then, her eyes searching mine with an almost desperate intensity, as if seeking confirmation, a silent affirmation that my words held an inherent truth. I wasn't entirely convinced I held all the definitive answers either, but one truth, pure and unassailable, resonated within me. Grace had, in this very moment, inadvertently unlocked a door to something far greater, something infinitely deeper and more profound than either of us could have anticipated. I think I've been pretending my whole life," she confessed softly, almost to herself, her voice barely audible above the quiet hum of the night. "I don't know how to stop." A long, significant pause followed, and for the first time in our conversation, I felt the very air between us subtly shift again. It was a delicate, almost imperceptible transformation, yet it was undeniably present. There was something unsaid now, something that transcended words, something neither of us could any longer ignore. "I don't think you need to stop pretending entirely," I said carefully, choosing my words with deliberate precision. "I think you just need to let go of the relentless need to control every single outcome, every single emotion. You don't have to have everything meticulously figured out. It's genuinely okay to approach things one step at a time, one quiet moment at a time." She blinked, as if processing the profound simplicity of my words. Then, a small, relieved laugh escaped her lips, a fragile sound that nonetheless filled the quiet space. "One step at a time," she repeated, tasting the words. "I like that. It sounds manageable." I offered her a gentle smile, feeling the immense weight of the conversation shift once more, this time towards a nascent sense of understanding, of mutual respect and quiet empathy. It wasn't a miraculous panacea for all her deeply entrenched problems. Far from it. But it was undeniably a starting point. And sometimes, in the intricate dance of life, a simple starting point is all we truly need to begin the arduous journey of healing. But then, without any warning, Grace extended her hand and placed it gently, almost tentatively over mine. The touch was soft, incredibly light, yet it spoke volumes, communicating a universe of unspoken emotions. There was no room for confusion, no need for second-guessing its profound meaning. It was a simple, yet incredibly powerful gesture of raw connection, of shared human experience, a silent affirmation that whispered, "I see you. I truly see you, in all your vulnerability." I wasn't entirely sure how to respond. I could feel my heart quicken its beat, a subtle tightening in my chest. I wasn't accustomed to these kinds of intimate moments, these deeply personal exchanges that felt so utterly raw, so undeniably vulnerable. But I didn't retract my hand. I allowed her touch to linger, to resonate, because in that precise sacred moment, I understood. I understood with a clarity that pierced through years of carefully constructed emotional barriers that sometimes a single, unassuming touch could convey more profound meaning, more authentic empathy than 1,000 meticulously chosen words ever could. "Thank you," she whispered softly, her voice quiet but imbued with profound sincerity. "Thank you for listening, for not judging me, for simply being here." "Of course," I replied, my voice just as soft, matching her hushed tone. "I don't think I could ever judge you, Grace." She nodded, but this time her eyes seemed noticeably lighter, as if a great internal burden had been momentarily lifted. There was a newfound sense of calm in the way she carried herself, a quiet peace that had gracefully settled over her after the raw honesty of everything she had shared. It was almost as if I could physically witness the immense weight of the world gently lifting from her shoulders, even if only for a fleeting, precious while. And in that profoundly insightful moment, a new realization dawned upon me, stark and undeniable. It wasn't solely Grace who desperately needed to be truly seen. I did too. We all did, in our own unique, often unspoken ways. Perhaps we were all, to varying degrees, engaged in some form of deliberate pretense. But in that small, quiet space, bathed in the soft glow of the lamp, we were granted a temporary, liberating reprieve from the exhausting charade. She took a deep, shuddering breath, her shoulders visibly relaxing for the first time that night, as if releasing years of accumulated tension. "I should probably let you get some sleep," she said, glancing apologetically at the clock. "I've already kept you up far too long." But a primal instinct within me rebelled. I didn't want her to leave, not yet. The words were perched precariously on the tip of my tongue. But before I could voice them, she gracefully stood up, her hand still resting lightly on mine. A silent, lingering connection for just a moment longer. "Thank you," she reiterated, this time with a new, quiet conviction. "You've given me something I didn't even realize I so desperately needed. A reminder that it's profoundly okay to be real, to be utterly authentic." As she moved towards the door, I watched her intently, unwilling to break the fragile, intimate spell we had woven. I had no foresight into what the immediate future held for her, nor could I predict the trajectory of my own path. But one truth, clear and irrefutable, resonated within me. Something profound had shifted, something irrevocably changed, and I harbored a deep conviction that neither of us would ever truly be the same again after this raw, unexpected exchange. With a final, gentle nod and a soft, knowing smile, she gracefully stepped out of my house, leaving the door slightly ajar behind her. The cool night air, now infused with the lingering echoes of our intimate conversation, filtered gently into the room. Yet it no longer felt cold, not after the profound warmth of connection that had just passed between us. I remained seated for a long time afterward, immersed in silent contemplation, reflecting on the quiet yet immensely powerful connection we had forged. And as I gazed out the window at the dark, silent street, a burgeoning sense of hope for both of us began to bloom within my heart, a fragile promise whispered on the night air. The subsequent days felt like a slow, deliberate unfolding, a gradual awakening to a new reality. A profound stillness permeated the air, yet it was distinctly different from the quiet I had known before. This was a deeper, more resonant peace, a quiet acknowledgement that things were indeed in flux, subtly shifting, but not in a chaotic, overwhelming rush. Everything now felt imbued with a greater sense of deliberation, a more thoughtful cadence. It was as if I was perceiving the world through a softer, more compassionate lens, where the relentless pursuit of speed and control was no longer paramount, and where the most profound and meaningful connections could mysteriously form in the delicate, often overlooked spaces between spoken words. Grace did not reappear at my door that night, nor the following evening. Yet, this new silence between us was not laden with discomfort or an awkward void. I instinctively understood that she was, like me, meticulously processing the raw truths we had so courageously shared. And even though we hadn't exchanged a single word since her departure, I no longer felt disconnected from her. I knew, with an unspoken certainty, that she was out there, somewhere in the quiet rhythm of her own life, diligently navigating the same complex questions, grappling with the same profound uncertainties. I also knew, with an even deeper conviction, that whatever arduous path she ultimately chose, she was no longer traversing it alone. She had, through her vulnerability, forged an invisible link, a silent understanding. A subtle yet profound realization had begun to bloom within me during our shared time together. A quiet whisper that had intermittently stirred in the distant corners of my mind for years, yet one I had never truly permitted myself to fully hear, to truly embrace. For much of my life, I had diligently maintained an emotional distance, a carefully constructed barrier between myself and the chaotic beauty of the world. My heart, my most authentic emotions, my deepest, most unspoken desires, I had meticulously locked them all away in a tiny, forgotten box, tucking it far back into the recesses of my consciousness. I had rationalized this self-imposed isolation, convincing myself that I didn't need to fully feel everything, that I could navigate life's turbulent currents without truly opening myself to others, without fully immersing myself in the messy, glorious dance of human connection. But sitting there with Grace that transformative night, witnessing her raw honesty, experiencing her profound vulnerability, I suddenly grasped the immense richness I had been denying myself by keeping my inner world so carefully guarded. And this realization wasn't limited to the grand narratives of romantic relationships or even deep friendships. It extended to the smallest, most fleeting of moments. The simple yet courageous act of allowing myself to be truly seen, to share what I genuinely felt, to grant someone access to the intimate spaces where I had been so diligently hiding. I had consistently denied myself that most fundamental human need. And the more I pondered this newfound truth, the more profoundly I understood its immense liberating importance. The power of authentic connection, of shared vulnerability, was a force I had unknowingly suppressed, and its absence had left a quiet ache in my soul. One crisp afternoon, several days after Grace's last visit, I caught sight of her outside standing thoughtfully in her yard, her gaze fixed on the ancient trees as if contemplating some monumental, life-altering decision. She exuded a sense of quiet peace. Yet there was also a subtle, almost palpable intensity about her, as if she were deeply engaged in deciphering some profound truth within her own being. I observed her for a moment, a silent debate unfolding within me. Or would she make her way to my door again, seeking solace, needing someone to listen? But this time, a different instinct took hold. This time, it wasn't her initiating the knock. It was me deliberately stepping out into the late autumn air, propelled by a quiet, burgeoning courage. I didn't overthink it, didn't allow my usual analytical mind to dissect the implications of my actions. I simply grabbed my favorite cardigan, stepped out of my house, and purposefully made my way across the small patch of manicured grass that served as the gentle boundary between our two homes. I could feel the cool autumn breeze playfully teasing my hair, hear the soft, rhythmic rustling of fallen leaves beneath my feet, a subtle symphony of the season. When I reached her, she slowly turned to face me, her eyes widening slightly, a flicker of surprise, quickly followed by a gentle brightness, illuminating her features as she recognized my presence. "Hey," she said softly, her voice a quiet murmur, as if genuinely surprised but not at all startled by my unexpected appearance. "I was just thinking about everything, you know?" I offered her a warm, knowing smile, understanding precisely the weight of her words, the depth of her introspection. "I figured you were," I replied, my voice equally soft. "I've been doing a lot of thinking myself." We stood there for a moment, a comfortable silence settling between us, each of us silently processing the unspoken echoes of our shared past, the profound understanding that now flowed effortlessly between us. Then, I took a small step closer, leaning casually against the low fence that divided our properties, the physical space between us now feeling effortlessly comfortable and easy, devoid of any previous awkwardness. "I don't know if I've told you this yet," I began, my voice a quiet confession. "But I'm truly proud of you, Grace." The words, in their profound simplicity, felt almost inadequate. Yet they were, undeniably, the most authentic and heartfelt words I had uttered in a very long time. Grace blinked, clearly taken aback by the unexpected declaration. She was typically so composed, so meticulously self-contained, that hearing words of such raw praise felt almost foreign, alien to her carefully constructed persona. You're proud of me? She questioned, a hint of genuine confusion in her voice. Why? Because you're facing something truly real, I explained, shrugging slightly, deliberately downplaying the magnitude of my observation. You're allowing yourself to genuinely feel, instead of simply pushing it all down, meticulously burying it beneath layers of denial, as so many of us instinctively do. And that, my dear, is far, far harder than it looks to the outside world. She considered my words for a long moment, her gaze dropping to the ground as she processed their profound implications, before slowly lifting her eyes back to meet mine. I don't feel strong, she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper basse, raw with honest vulnerability. I feel lost.